What's up, guys? Welcome to the call. We do this call every Thursday night at 7 o'clock Central. It's your go-to place. You know what the other time zones are. It's your go-to place to find out what's working, what's not working, see what everybody's up to, what they're wearing, and what's going on. Super excited about tonight. We have one of our very own young ladies, rock stars, going to be talking to us tonight. Kind of a little Q&A thing, and then I'll just let her go ahead and preach for a little bit. But you've all seen her. Kelly Posner is going to be talking to us tonight, and super excited about this because, first of all, she's got, 1 week left in two-star qualifying? 1 week left in two-star qualifying. And listen to this. She's number 60 out of like 500 million or I don't know, 400,000 coaches in the network, something like that, right? But number 60, this guy, number 60 out of all of the coaches, and so, that's one of those things where, well, I mean, I'm just going to let her tell you what that means or how that happened. But yeah, but it's pretty awesome. You know what? Before I throw it to y'all, I've been working on these today, right? Those are the 1K ribbons, the 1K. There they are, right, for gold. And so I'm gonna say this now, but I'll send you a message later, Chelsea. Maybe we can add a question like who's your upline or something like that. So if because let me just help everybody, right? Like there's only 3 questions right now, but we really need you to answer all of them, right? Like you can't just tell me your street address and not like the city or state or zip code that you live in. And what was the other one? Or yeah, that you have which ribbon I'm supposed to send you. I can't just guess.
I'll be a little more specific in the questions and add the upline question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we had, well, I didn't call you out, but, we had 10 people submit it and we only got an 80 as far as like correctly submitted, answered the 3 questions. So take a couple of seconds, and look at that. And I know that some of you qualified for ribbons that haven't filled it out yet. So find that link. And let's get that sorted out so I can get those in the mail to you. Now,
are you joking? The questions were challenging.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. I mean, I had 10, and only 8 of them were filled out.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Put together.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, super. What's your name? What's your address? Which ribbon? That's the questions. But
literally, those are the questions.
Those are the questions. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, I digress. So let me make Kelly co-host. And so, you know what? I don't need to introduce you because everybody knows you. But I'm just going to throw it to you. I want you to start though. Again, kind of just telling us what's the difference, right? Because you were kind of hanging around at kind of diamond, not necessarily diamond for years, right? I mean, I think that's probably a fair statement. But boy, that's all changed now, right? And we've got goals for elite this year. You're on the list. You're gonna, you're it's number 60 out of the network. So talk to us about where you used to be and what you used to tell yourself, right, about why you weren't succeeding or something like that. Because I think that a lot of people that do like what you've done and what Carrie has done is, in the back, back in the day, you were like, well, I am working my business. It's just not really working for some reason, right? But you weren't really working your business. And now you're working your business and stuff's happening, right? So talk to us a little bit about that, if you would.
So I just want to tell my team's gonna laugh when I say this, but a short story about where I started, because this is part of my limiting beliefs that I had. So my 7-year coach anniversary is February 28th. So just 2 weeks, my 7-year coach anniversary. And I will go 2-star diamond on February 24th or February 25th. So when you look at that and you go, it took me 7 years, quote unquote, from the day I signed up as a coach to hit 2-star diamond, which is one of the goals that we want everybody to shoot for if you want to build a business and build a team, right, is to get to 2-star diamond. And for so long, I played it safe. I played it down. I did all of these things because I let these feelings that I didn't do it fast as other people, I'm not as popular, or I don't have the right tools or whatever, all of these excuses, these limiting beliefs that kept me playing small. And so it was about, and I started, so when I started 7 years ago, I was a single mom. I was recently divorced. I had I think she was almost 2 at the time, little girl, and I needed extra income. I was not a challenger before I became a coach. I had never completed a program. I had no transformation, physical or anything. I signed up strictly to earn a side income because I was a full-time high school counselor, single income, and literally had nothing extra at the end of the month. I had filed bankruptcy, like after I got divorced, to get rid of all of the crap and the history from my marriage. And I just needed more, right? And I wanted to find something that I could do with a little child at home that didn't take me away from her, and something I truly believed in. But when I started, I fully started just thinking I was going to have a side income. I was never going to leave my job. I was going to be a lifer, in education, 30 years. And it was just going to be something that gave me extra to get my nails done, to have happy hours, coffee dates, and something special for my daughter. And it really didn't change for years. And so I did continue to play small because I was making money from the start. I was making several $100s a month, which was really nice. I had my full-time income. And then I ended up getting married 5 years ago. My husband he's a very successful attorney, does very well. And so it was kind of like, oh, I have this thing that I love to do as the side business. I also have this other job that I love. Well, I got to take a couple years leave of absence because of my amazing husband, and work Beachbody full time. I was going to put all my energy into Beachbody, because you can do that in education. You can take a leave of absence without losing your job. Beautiful. And I was like, I'm going to work Beachbody full time, give it all my energy, and then be able to be home with my daughter, which is always a dream of mine, to be home with her when she was young, before she started going, to school full days. And so I did that. And guess what? I found every excuse in the book not to do the things. Again, I still was making an income, very, probably several $100s a month. So I was like, oh, I'm making some money. Bless my husband's heart, because he's allowed me, I stayed home and I'm like, I'm working, I'm here at home, I'm working out every day and I'm working. But then I had to take care of my daughter. I was a single married mom, and I was doing all these things and traveling, taking her every single day to preschool and all this stuff. And I just continued to play small. Well, my 2-year leave of absence came up, and I either had to resign my job or go back to work. And my husband said, you can't resign. You're not making no full-time Beachbody income or even a part-time income. You can't resign. And I was like, crap, I have to go back to work. And again, longer story short, I ended up being able to go back half-time at a new school, and it ended up being literally the best of both worlds. I got to do my job that I loved as a middle school counselor half-time, and I got to do Beachbody half-time. Now I'm making more money as a Beachbody coach, because now I'm being able to work my business 2 full days at home. My kid's in school full-time. I'm doing counseling half-time, and I was loving it. Like, I was making a decent income. My husband was happy. I was happy. I had I was being able to do 2 passions that I love. Well, and so this is what 2020 was COVID, right? This is 21. So 19 was the first time, 2019 was the first time, it was my second year as a halftime counselor, and no, first year as a halftime counselor. And it was the first time I was like, okay, I'm going to get serious, quote unquote serious. I looked at the Road to Elite, and started looking at, was when they changed it to have the different stops on Road to Elite, team builder, team leader, and all of that. And I was like, okay, this gives me some benchmarks that I need to hit. This is what I need. Elite was always the thing that was so elusive to me. I had no idea how to get there. I just thought it was only for the top people, and I could never get there. That was just, I just wrote it off, right? And so when they changed it up to the Road to Elite and they had these benchmarks, I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to look at these. Didn't really get serious about it. But by the end of 2019, I hit Team Builder, the first stop on the Road to Elite. Didn't really know how I did it, but I did it, right? I wasn't, and then in 2020 was my second year as, January of 2020, it was my second year as a halftime counselor, loving my job, and loving being able to do Beachbody. I was like, okay, 2020, I'm really gonna do this. I'm gonna go all in. Like we all said, January 2020, whether it was your fitness, your health, your whatever dreams, go all in 2020. And so I printed out that Road to Elite again. My coaches were doing more. I was bringing more people on, and I was like, I'm doing this. But it wasn't because I wanted to leave my job. I just wanted to be successful. I really did want to hit Premier or Elite. And I've set my sights for Premier in 2020. So as we all know, what happened in 2020, COVID-19, which actually benefited our businesses, I think, if you really look at it, if you were working your business in all of 2020, it really did actually benefit my business personally, I'll say that. And my husband actually was, because of what he does for a living, couldn't work, had to be on unemployment. He's our, the breadwinner in our family. And I was like, oh crap. Like now my Beachbody side income that I was doing pretty well at, I need that to help provide for my family. My husband's provided for our family for all these years when I sat on my ass and could have crushed it. All these years that I wasted all this time and wasn't, now I have to stand up and do something about it. And so I was already kind of on that path. And then in March, which was completely unrelated to COVID, my school district that I work in decided that they were no longer going to allow any part-time employees. No more. So I had to make a decision to either go back full-time the following fall or resign from my job completely. Well, I was not at a position yet to be able to resign from my job, especially when my husband's on unemployment and not able to do his full job because of COVID and restrictions in our state. He's an attorney. Anyway, that wasn't an option for me. And that pissed me the hell off because I did not want to go back full time. I loved the freedom that I had. My husband and I travel because our kids are with their other parents half the time. So we get to travel. We have this freedom I never even thought was imaginable. And I didn't want to lose that. So now it was the first time I had my feet to the fire of, hey, your life, this beautiful life that you thought you created for yourself and that your husband really, helped you create is going to go away real fast. Your husband's going to go on all these trips. You're not going to be able to. And I'm like, you can't go anywhere without me. But why should he have to sit around? He works for himself. He's flexible. And so I was like, I have to get to work. I have to do this. And so back in March, I really went all in. Like I was doing all the things. I had a team. We were having weekly team calls. I started doing all of the things that I thought team leaders needed to do. Weekly team calls. I'm trying to create new trainings and just different things. And like I said, doing all the things I thought a team leader needed to do. But what I wasn't doing was I wasn't pouring back into myself. I wasn't finding people to challenge me. And then I got really burnt out, especially when I went back to school full time, which I haven't been full time in over 5 years in education in the middle of a global pandemic and trying to run and work a full-time Beachbody business so I could leave that job. And so I got really, really burnt out. And I'm going to tell you the 3 tips because Chelsea told me to think of the 3 tips, 3 things that got me. What? Why are you laughing?
Because you didn't have to say that.
Oh no, I was like, what do you want me to say tonight? But and so I got super burnt out. My team could tell. they told me like now, like the difference they see in me. I was so burnt out because I thought I had to do it all for my team. And I wasn't doing anything for me in terms of the business side. I was working out, I was doing all those things. I was, but I wasn't rejuvenating myself. So I shit you not, in November of 2020, even though I hit team builder first quarter of 2020, and I was still on, I was still working for Premier, but like I said, back when we went back to school, everything stopped. I was drained from my day job. I was drained from coaching because I had lost that fun, because I felt like I was trying, and that it wasn't, the passion was gone. I didn't have the energy for the passion anymore. And it was really sad. And so in November, my husband and I go to Cabo. It's where we were married, where we were engaged. Every single year, I was like, screw it. We're in remote. I'm taking my vacation. I'm going on my vacation. Took the week off, went down to Cabo San Lucas, pretty much took the entire month off of November. Okay. Hadn't done that forever. I really was contemplating quitting, like not quitting as like, I'm still going to get the discount. I'm still going to do the workouts. But I didn't know if I could continue down a path of putting all of this energy, bad energy, like it wasn't even good energy, into this business, because my day job was what I had to do at that point, right? That's the money that I had to earn. I had to go to that job. Beachbody was the job that I got to do when I got home. So that was the thing that I was like, God, I'm so exhausted. Do I really have to do? I wasn't feeling it. And Chris has been in my DMs. That's not creepy. It's true. I mean, he's, that's my mentor. He's been in my DMs for a while. Like, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? And I was terrified to tell him how he could help me, because then I had to show up. I was okay not showing. I'm like, well, my team's not showing up. Well, I'm trying to do all these things and they're not taking advantage, and I wasn't showing up for myself and to be that leader and that example for my team. So finally, I'd have to go back in our DMs and look, but finally, Chris, I don't know if it was in a Team Pan page or where, but I'm like, oh my God, I'm terrified, but I am reaching out to you because I know you will hold me accountable, and I need something, or I am going to quit. And I don't want to, I knew there was something more deep down, but I was so exhausted and so drained. I didn't know how to pull myself out of where I was. And so Chris himself did that first. Then, not kidding, November 30th was the first Monday night call of the 1K Club. The very first month of 1K Club started on November 30th. And that night, I think I was at SC2. I was going to lose my Success Club, almost, it was almost Success Club. No, it was the month after I had just hit Success Club All-Star. So 24 months in Success Club, I was going to lose it the month after because I was being an asshole. And so I hit it. So that night I got off that call. I hit Success Club 8, I think, by the end of that night. The 1K Club call or group started, and that is what I needed. I found people, and I really hope my team is not taking this like in any offense, any way, shape, or form, but found people that challenged the shit out of me, that scared me, that breathed that belief, that changed how I was even speaking to my team, and the belief I had in myself, as well as the belief I had in my team. And it changed everything. When Sydney Maurer called me today and said, she wanted to get on the phone with me to talk about what's changed and what's happening, I cannot wait to tell her the 1K Club. I cannot wait to tell her that Chris Reed, Chelsea Farmer, KB, and Joan are the ones that literally changed everything. And so I feel like I totally lost what I was going to say, but I wrote some notes. One of the things, so I was like, okay, I'm trying to think. I was going, and then I thought of something, and then I lost it. So the three things that I picked 4 because I couldn't just think of 3 things that changed. So even in 2020, even when I was drained and I was like down, I was still doing the things. Obviously I hit Success Club every single month. I was doing the bare minimum though. So the things that changed for me is when I got into this 1K club, and I had tried to recreate a club like this tried to do a diamond run with my team, and I tried to do all these things, but I did that, I think, and I remember, I think it was Chris that said, I might have left the nest a little too soon, because I was looking for these types of groups. I'm like, well, if I can't find it for myself, then I need to go create it for my team. But then I didn't have it. I felt like I'm the leader. I can't be doing the things. I'm the leader. And so when I found this group, not only are the leaders in the group doing the things, I mean, they have the highest numbers every single month. They're in the Success Club, we all start the month at 0. It's not like they start at any other higher number when we start at the first of every month, but they have higher numbers every single month. They were doing the things, they're ranking up while we're in these groups, their coaches are ranking up. All of the things that I wanted to happen are happening, that I want to happen for my team, are happening in this group, and happening for these leaders. And so being able to challenge myself, find people that were, if you're the best or highest earning or most successful person at your table, you need to find another table. And that was my biggest. I was terrified to go work with somebody that was a 10-star diamond. Like, why would they want to work with me? That's ridiculous. Like, I'm just this peon who's been a coach for 7 years and hasn't even gone star diamond, because I had that limiting belief. And so pay attention. I mean, like, I nothing that they are telling us in these groups is rocket science. And it literally, I literally wrote down consistency. If I could smack a word in the face and yell at everybody that says this word, because it is literally the word that every person leaving the 1-star group, the 2-star group, the elite groups, consistency, doing the things over time. That is probably my number one change. I was like this. I was like a big fat roller coaster going, oh, I'll do things in one day and then the next days and all that stuff. When you consistently show up for yourself and work your business, you will consistently have success. The entrepreneur roller coaster is a thing, but it doesn't have to be. Okay. Another thing, this is another huge one, and I owe this to Chelsea a lot. I used to get up super early. I would always do my workout first thing, and then I would get off to work. And I was like, I can't wake up any earlier than 5 a.m. Like, what? Like, why would I do that to myself? But guess what? When I really decided to work my business, and Chris Reed said, if you want to be elite, you got to be working 2 to 3 hours a day. You got to be doing X, Y, and Z and all these other things. I was like, well, how the hell do I do that? Like, I work 8 hours and then get, all the things, and being a mom. Oh, I got to get up earlier. Oh yeah, I do. I don't sacrifice sleep because that's like an oxymoron. Why, I still get good sleep. I try to get as much sleep as I can as possible. But now I get up at 4:15 in the morning because I have to own my mornings. Just like I want to work out so that I don't leave it to the end of the day, I have to start my business workings in the morning. Not saying you have to be an early riser and own your mornings, but you have to own your day. Carrie, on this call, she owns the shit out of her days. I still don't understand how she has the numbers she does, works the schedule she does. She owns her day. Okay? Doesn't have to be getting up butt crack early. Maybe you're late, you like to stay up late and you can sleep in because of your schedule. Whatever it is, you have to own your day. Okay? The other thing was finding other people that challenge you. Not being chicken shit, and this is like my favorite term that I've learned from Chelsea, not being chicken shit and going and finding people that challenge you, okay? Or going to hold you accountable. That was the other thing. Like, I didn't feel like I really had anybody to be accountable to on my team. I'm like, I'm the one that started the freaking team. Who do I have to be accountable to, right? Well, that's why I reached out to Chris, terrifying as it was. Hey, guess who's going 2-star next week? Think it worked. Think his little, and the thing is, he didn't even have to say anything. I was terrified. I was waiting because he'd be like, hey, where are you at SC this month? And I'd be like, I'm still at 0. And he'd be like, okay. You're owning your business. You working your, I'm like, I terrified. So I was working my ass off because I knew he was going to send me that text again. And I didn't want to say 0 again. Find people that challenge you and make you level up. That's just my personality. I don't want to let anybody else down. So I shouldn't, not let myself down, but we're working on that. And then again, I feel silly saying this over and over and over again, but this 1K club, the belief that has been instilled in us to not just say it, not even just do it, but to believe it and manifest that you and I are made for more. And if that's what you want from this business, it can absolutely happen. When today was the first day back at my school for kids in person. And so craziness, all the COVID stuff. I mean, just, tempered, everything crazy. I knew it was going to be a super hard, but amazing day, which it was so amazing. But I had a spare minute and I saw that Sydney Maurer from corporate sent me a message. And I was like, well, maybe she's just saying, because sometimes they send you messages when you're going to go right before you go 2-star or whatever. And I was like, so I listened. She sent me a voice message. I listened. She's like, you were number 60 in the entire network. I need to get on the call with you and find out where you're. I'm like, excuse me, what? Like that, I was like, she's got to be looking at the wrong
person. You texted me, that has to be a mistake. And
I did. I texted Chris that too. And I said, I'm waiting for her to pull the rug out and say it's not true. And then I text back, I go, I said that. I said, are you sure? And she goes, yeah, I'm absolutely sure. And then I said, do you mean in the region or like the whole network? Chris even asked that. He goes, are you sure? Or is it the region or the whole network? I'm calling you out, ass. No, just kidding. And I said, but I was curious. I'm like, this cannot be right. And so she goes, no, the entire network of 400,000 coaches. And it still does not feel real because it's like, I know how it happened, but I still don't know how it happened. How it happened was having the belief in myself as well as my team. When I finally had the energy from other people, the belief that was pounded into us by Chelsea and KB and Joan and Chris and the wealth of knowledge that they're giving us, I could then in turn felt like I could give it back in not telling my team, hey, you need to do this and you need to do this and you need to do this, but just loving on them and pouring into them and helping them. And it was so rewarding and so refreshing. I didn't feel like I was their mom. Like they got so much out of being in this group because it wasn't like when you're the mom and the parent has to tell your kid and they'll go listen to their teacher and be like, I told you the same thing. And I'm like, well, it's not your mom because they're not going to listen to their mom. They're going to listen to everybody else. And the belief, if you want this to be the thing for you, you have to truly believe that it's possible, which I feel like I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and she's going to go, oh, it was a mistake. So I wasn't going to say anything until tomorrow, until the elite report came out in public, but Kisa and Chris ruined it. So if it's not right tomorrow, I'm going to be real embarrassed if it's a mistake. I know that I am made for more. I literally told one of my associate principals today that I will not be returning next year because I cannot be a half-time coach. Like I told them that. And I was gonna be real embarrassing if I have to show up there because I didn't do it. And now that I'm 60th in the network, which is literally insane to me, I don't want to lose that either. I don't want to go, it's even more ammunition to keep going. I don't know. I feel like I kind of went all over the place. So sorry. But I don't know if there's questions or.
Energy is everything. And I said in this chat when you were talking about, you were so burned out and you didn't have the energy to flow through your passion, like all energy is felt and your energy tonight was everything.
Good, because one of the students, this is hilarious, because I had so much energy trying to bring to the kids today because they were so nervous. They were little 6th graders and they hadn't stepped foot in our building, because we've been out of school since March 13th of 2020 and they're brand new kids into our building because it's 6th graders, never been there. And so I got to be on the microphone this morning and I was, as they were coming in and, getting them all riled up and I had all this energy. And today after school, they were doing picture day and I was in the line behind a student that was there this morning. She goes, you're not as crazy right now as you were this morning. And I go, because I'm exhausted. Like, she literally said that to me. And so I was like downing stuff. I'm like, I gotta have the energy for tonight. But I will say, because I feel bad that I I was so drained from this, and I did not want to quit. And this is what brings me life now. This is where I find my passion, my true passion. And I still want to help kids, volunteer on my spare time when I'm not working my Beachbody business next year. But I have so much passion and drive. And I will say that my team, them stepping up and coming into their own, has been life-changing for me and my business as well. So I know I would not be here without them and the growth that they've had by being a part of this 1K club as well. So if you want your team to be successful, you got to get them in and get them doing the things like my team is.
That's awesome. So how much time do you think you work in your business now as opposed to when you were pretending to work your business? And like, what kind of excuses were you telling yourself then? Or, what's the mind shift, the mindset change?
So, and even back, even in 2020, even like back, especially at the beginning of the year, I would literally tell myself, I just worked an entire day at my day job, and I'm mentally exhausted because of how horrible it was, that I can take a break. Like I said, that was the job I had to do. So this in Beachbody was the job I got to do if I had the time or energy, and I let it be that instead of letting it fuel me. So I wouldn't work every day. The difference is now I work my business every single day, and my family knows it. My husband knows it. Every night he goes, so are you going to work your business tonight before, or are we going to be able to watch a show? Like, he knows, like, and we kind of had that talk, because he knows my goals. He sees it happening. He doesn't want me to have to work full time, because he's like, I want to travel, and when we can travel again, I want to travel. We're trying to create this life for ourselves, and then that was taken away from us. And so it's up to me. My husband's doing his job, being able to have this time freedom and all this stuff. He created his life to do that. And now I want to be right there next to him. And it's up to me to do that. Nobody else but me, to be able to earn enough income so I can resign from my job and be by his side. Right. And so I was not working my business. I would say, I posted stories, or I, messaged somebody. I was not working my business every single day. And so now I would probably say at least an hour. I'm not going to lie and say it's 2 to 3 hours every day, at least an hour every single day. But then some of those days it's 2 to 3 or 4 to 5, depending on my day, if it's a weekend, if I have my kid. But I work my business every single day, every day.
Right. I think that's so important. And again, right, that's the consistency that you were talking about. And Chelsea talked about it in the thread, but I see people sometimes talking about, hey, give yourself some grace, and that's fine, right? I mean, everybody deserves a little bit of grace, but like Chelsea said, too much grace, not enough grit, right? Because like if somebody, especially like if you're leading your own challenge group or something like that, and like you show up every day, or like half the times you show up, you're like, oh man, too tired to work out today. I'm going to give myself some grace, I'm going to give myself some grace about this. And I'm going to get, and eventually I'm going to give myself grace means I'm going to not feel bad about not doing the things that I should be doing, and I love that you point out that your husband knows that you're working your business, and, and sometimes like I can relate to that. Like when in the beginning, Cody was like, hey, come on, I want to go do something else. And I was like, I can't. I got to send on my invites. I got to do my workout, and yada, yada, yada. And for those of you who maybe deal with that, like Chelsea said, also, communication is so important there. But also, as I've said before, show them the money, right? When you start showing them money, then they start paying attention. Like Raymond Bukowski is clicking like on Facebook posts in Team Pan, right? And he wasn't doing that. He wasn't doing that before. But the guy, I think he maybe sees a little bit about what's possible. And so, if your spouse is in that boat where they're like, hey man, what is it that you're doing this, over there? Just, just do what you need to do. Be like, hey, you know what? I'm trying to buy you a fishing rod or whatever it is that their hobby. You know what, man? Hey, I'm going to earn enough
He's a
money. I'm
race
going
car
to buy you.
driver, so that's gonna be a while before I can buy him a race car. But we'll
Yeah,
try.
well, okay. Maybe not. But, aim big, dream big.
I have something to add to that.
Yeah.
So for those of us who do have the leisure of working our business throughout the day because we get to stay at home or we don't have full-time jobs, I will say at the beginning of hosting this 1K club, Ian was like, you have 2 calls a night, you have 3 calls a week. And I'm like, yeah. And he, again, sees the return on investment, the change in my mood, the change in my energy, how much I'm sharing about my team's successes. And even this morning, he's like, hey, what do you have anything this night? I have this going on. And I just, like KB always says, I appreciate him noticing my hard work and that I'm not just like dicking around over here, So don't be afraid to communicate. And Ian knows I'm in the trenches. I have big goals for our family, and he gets it because I'm showing that the hard work is paying off. So don't be afraid to communicate that and say, watch me do, and then do it.
Yeah, he was pretty happy when he got my 1099 this year, and he was like, "Oh, what? What?" Because I was telling him that I was making, and then when they see it, it was like, "Oh, okay, this, because before, and this is my own fault. I remember being at our couples counseling, and because he was having this issue with me not wanting to go back to work, and when I was on leave of absence, and it's like, but I don't really see the money, and I'd be like, well, you're not supporting me, and you don't feel like I can do it, and then I was like, because he didn't see the money. Like, it was like I was home all day long, and the money wasn't following, and so it's absolutely true that when they see those dollar signs, they're like, okay, now I can support you. He said, when I called him a day to tell him about 60, he goes, wait, I don't understand. Like, can you explain this to me? Like, he's like, and he's totally invested because he sees that what I'm doing and all the work that I'm putting in is paying off. So.
I tell you, I know that you're like, I can't believe I'm 60, but
I
I'm
can
so
totally
excited.
believe it.
I'm so excited for you, and I'm telling you, like I said in the chat too, this is going to be your year, right? Elite is done, right? You still got to do the work, but I have zero doubt that you're going to be an elite coach this year. And so my goal is to keep up with you and be elite also, and so I'm excited that you're part of our family. I'm excited that we're gonna travel the world together. You're doing this and you're doing it right. We're gonna travel the world together, and it's gonna be awesome. And so for everybody on this call, you can either take this call and be like, when you see Kelly doing a national coach call or a wake up call or talking about her rank or her successes or something like that, you can be like, man, I was there when she was like not even 2-star yet and she was so excited. Or you can be like, man, Kelly was kicking ass and I was right there next to her kicking ass too, so it just, it's a decision about what it is that what you want this moment to be for you. Do you want to watch Kelly launch this thing into the atmosphere, or do you want to do the same thing?
Can I say
Can I take it back to you talking about how one of the biggest game changers for you was this 1K club? So as the leaders, like, we are working behind the scenes trying to figure out like what it is you guys need most, curating content, shifting, pivoting, like how are we providing the most value for you guys? What will you say, or what would you say? Like, are you doing the challenges? How are you utilizing the group? Because I always say this, it's really easy to scroll, but when things like this, you got to stop your scroll and you got to lean in. So how are you doing all the challenges? How are you utilizing the group?
I'm not gonna lie, I am not doing 100% of the challenges. I feel like well, that's a lie. I'm just not. Okay, I'm just gonna say that. What I think that the biggest thing for me is having having help with my team, to be honest, having help with giving them ideas and things to do that they can glom onto, as well as the team calls have been everything. The speakers that you've had that just show us so many different ways of how it can be done. I'm a motivational, inspirational freak. So I love reading the posts and seeing, like, getting all hyped up. I have done challenges, but I will tell you, I've never probably done, I haven't done all of them at all. But I also feel like that's not the inviting. Some of the things about the challenges are getting people out of their comfort zone and inviting or doing lives or things like that. I don't have, that's not my like hang up. And so some of those things, I'm doing those things regularly and feel pretty confident. I love getting wording, like the scripts and things that I always steal the scripts. But some of the challenges that people, you know, we're newer coaches, they're like, oh, I can't go live. I can't do a reel. I can't do, you know, I was once there. I don't feel like I struggle with that. So I'm going to take the stuff that I feel like I need to focus where my weaknesses are. Does that make sense? So that's probably
100%.
why.
And I think that's a really good takeaway for everyone, because if you're one in here that's like, there's so much great information, where do I even start? And then you just get paralyzed and you're like chucking it in the bucket, like, just know you need to lean in. You need to do those things that make you squirm and get uncomfortable. And like Kelly said, yeah, she may not be doing every single challenge, but she knows if there's something that's posted that she squirms about, she's putting that on the top of her priority list.
The one that does make me squirm is the one like the challenge is like send this message like go chug water and then tell me when you're done, or go drop and do a plank or whatever, you know, and then tell me when you're done. Like that makes me squirm. I'm like,
which is so funny. I would have never thought that.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. I'm like, I'd much rather invite you to my challenge group than go randomly tell you to do a plank.
That is so funny. Oh my God, that's funny. Christina says, how are you working with your team? Oh, I just lost it. How are you working with your team? Are you challenging each other based on stuff in 1K?
So we actually, so one of the things that we did way back when the first 1K club happened, the coaches, I put it out to my whole team, because again, you want to run with the running and not, that was the other thing, is like, I was too afraid to not push my coaches, but to, oh, they don't really want to do all the work that it takes to be successful. And I wasn't allowing them to make that decision for themselves. And so I put this out to my whole team, and the ones that decided to do it, I created we created a Facebook Messenger thread with all, and it's called 1K Club, and that's what we go at it in there. I mean, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, if you're not in that Messenger thread for like 30 minutes, it's going to take you 30 minutes to get through all the messages, because we are just back and forth and helping each other with like follow-ups, and I mean, everything, challenging each other. We go in there every day. Chris has one. I'm in another one with Chris and some people from Team Pan. We do SC roll call. Where are you at? What do you need help with? I mean, it's just, so we're not bombarding our whole team that's not ready yet. But these people in the 1K club, and this is the first month we said, if you don't hit Success Club by February, you're out. Like, if you want to be like out of this text thread until you hit Success Club the following month, not because we're trying to be mean, but again, this is an exclusive club. If you're in the 1K club, you want to earn $1,000 a month, or you want to earn $1,000 a week. You're saying that out loud into the universe by being in this group. And so if you're not hitting Success Club, that is a non-negotiable to earn that kind of money. So this is the first month. I'm hoping we don't have to kick anybody out, but we'll see, you know?
I think it goes back to that word intention. Like, even with message pods and groups, like, if you're not here to work and show up, like, don't just lurk. Do everyone a favor, right? And if someone does an SC roll call and you're not happy with where you're at, go check yourself, respond, reflect, reset. You know, it's not an end all be all.
Yeah. And I think that was also the biggest thing. I keep saying it's all the biggest things. There's so many big things. Was that was huge. Like, when I was, and Chris did this for me, because when he would send me a text message and be like, what's your SC? And I'd be like, 0. And then he'd send me another one and it'd be like, what's your SC? I'm like, 0. And I'm like, and I wanted to be like, but I'm sending. And I'm like, he doesn't give a shit what my excuse comes after the SC 0. And that was when I was like, if I'm not where I'm at, what do I need to do differently? And so that's when I was like, I have to invite more. I have to do this. I had a call with Lori Davis Hanley. I was like, we had this call the other day, and she was like, but I'm doing the thing. I said, how many invites are you sending a day? She was at SC0 at the time. How many invites? I can't remember what she said. And I was like, then you need to do more. If you're not happy with, like, bottom line, if you're happy with being at SC0, great. You don't have to do any more work. But if you're not, you've got to do more or do something different. We always go, maybe it's my language. Maybe it's that I'm not inviting the right. No, you just need to, I'm like, it's a numbers game. It is like, I invited over 500 people, I think it was back in December or something ridiculous, to get 26 Success Club points. That's 13 people out of 500. Not very good odds, but still, that's a lot of freaking people. So if you invite 10 people and think you're going to get SC6, you're either super damn lucky or you're not going to hit SC6. And so that is the difference of being in a 1K club, in my opinion, my humble opinion, and being in your team page or being a team Beachbody coach. If you're in a 1K club or you're in an exclusive group where you're trying, then you are there to work. And so when somebody tells you you're not working enough, you either need to be okay with where you're at and get out of the club or start working harder.
And again, I think we can all use this reminder, especially me right now. Like, this isn't about us, guys. Like, what would our life look like right now if we didn't have it? And I don't mean to get all emo on you, but it's literally the truth. You know, people need us. People need this opportunity. And if we're not willing to go out and give it to people, truth, love.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean, to jump on that just a little bit, right? So like Kelly's doing the work, right? But she gives some of the credit to 1K Club and she mentions the people running it or something like that, right? So like, you know, y'all have heard my little rant about, you know, leaving a legacy and you know, after everybody's dead and gone, yada yada. But I mean, this is what I'm talking about, right? Right? Because I would message Kelly and other people would message Kelly, and she got in this 1K club and she got all fired up and she got those 13 people signed up who've turned around, and now her team is rocking and they're turning around. And so like, you know, you guys are helping people that you know, Christina and Joan and Chelsea and I, we're not going to even know who those people are, right? But we're going to get a little bit of that. And so, you know, that's why I think that this is such a noble job. I really think it's such a noble thing that we're able to do. And like Kelly said, you know, she's like, man, I want to still help kids, right? But I just want to do it on my own time. And that's the other thing that I would say, and that was the other thing I wanted to point out when she was talking about, she's like, man, I came home and I'm like, oh, I don't want to work my business because I just busted my ass at work all day and it sucked and it was terrible. And, you know, that's one of those things you hear me say where like every time most of the time when somebody gives an excuse about why they're not working their business is exactly why they should be working their business, right? Like that's why now she's like, this is why I need to work my business so I don't have to go to that terrible job. You know, I'm going to work my business so I can volunteer for kids. And then when they start driving me crazy, I'm like, I'm out, y'all. I'm not coming back until I'm got enough, you know, got some more room in my crazy bucket. So, you know, that's fantastic.
It's so true. I read this analogy and I actually made a post about it today too. It's like, have you guys ever gone like water skiing, right? Like the first instruction they give you when you go water skiing is if you fall, let go of the rope. Like let go of the rope. We all know what happens if you don't let go of the rope. I mean, you get dragged, you're drowning, you're getting beat the fuck up by the waves. Like it hurts, your arms are being pulled out of their socket, but you're holding on like this for dear life because for some reason your brain is telling you that's the safety, right? But if you just let go, all of a sudden you float up to the top, sun shining on you, you got your life jacket, you're just like floating like this, it's all cool, and you're like, oh, like I'm free, this feels good, right? That is this business. And so many people turn around to their job that is the rope and they're holding on to it and they're holding on to it going, no, I can't let go because if I do, what happens? And not making that time also, you guys, is holding on to the rope. But when you let it go, that's where you find everything you've been looking for. And it's fear. I am telling you, if you can't find time for this business, it is fear. If you can't like send enough invites during the day, it's fear. If you're not posting during the day, it's fear. If you're not showing up for yourself in some way in this business, it is 100% the fear that is holding you back. And I will tell you that the more you dive into that and face it, like, right, inaction breeds fear. Fear is washed out by taking those actions. So you just have to do it. Like Kelly is saying that she jumped in this group, saw a fuck ton of action, and was like, shit, I got to jump in on this action or I'm going to be left out, right? And so the fear of being left out actually led her to the action to get her to do her business instead. So it's the fear is never going to go away, you guys, but reattach it to something different, right? Like maybe the fear is that like 10 years from now, you're still sitting in the same exact fucking spot you're sitting right now. Like 10 years from now, you're like sitting there going, God, I wish I had of, or what if, right? 10 years from now, you're looking at the other people in this group and going like, oh my God, like they did it. And like, I didn't because I sat there and made all the excuses and I was too fearful. Like, don't do that to yourself. Like 100% you can do this. Just put your mind blinders on, do the work. And I love the point too of like, you're seeing all the action stuff in there. You're seeing the posts, you're seeing the information, you're getting the tidbits, you're getting the tips, you're seeing what we are providing for information out there for you. Take what is useful for you and apply it, but just continue to take action every single day. Invite every day, share every day, do your workout every day, read a book every day. At the crux of this business, it is very, very, very simple. It's our brains that overcomplicate it. That was really long. I'm sorry.
Oh, I think it was great.
I want to say two things. I know Kelly really well, and so I've been on the journey with her a long time. And I want to tell you that Kelly is someone who has noticed top coaches and noticed what people are doing for a long time, and she's paid attention and she's done a lot of studying. And I don't think she really shared that much, but she does pay attention, and she's also invested into a lot of trainings. And so part of her journey is that she never freaking quit on trying to grow. Now, whether it was always the way she needed to grow and the right solution at the time, that's different. But I did not see this woman stop trying to move forward in all the time I've known her. And I think that's such an important part of her journey that everyone on this call should realize is that she was ready for the 1K club because of the work she did. That's like really, really important for people to know. The other feedback I wanted to give is about the 1K club. One of the things I've enjoyed is I like the pressure. Like Joan was a straight up bitch to me, I thought, the first night, and I actually love her so much now. Like not to me personally, you were to like maybe everyone, but no, like you literally were so on fire because I think it was the first night, honestly, and like you were on fire, and what you said that night was like, holy shit, I don't like the way this girl is saying this to me, but it's exactly what I need to hear. And it was like that first call, this group was fire, and the expectations were high, which has, I think, if you're asking what's driven 1K forward, I will tell you from our team, from a number of people, it was actually like they appreciated the grace last month. A couple of us did, but at the same time, like the setting the bar high is actually freaking amazing. And Joan, I do love you. And I'm not saying that, I'm not trying to be mean, but like, honestly, your style was just what I needed. And I didn't know I needed it. That's the thing. I didn't know I needed someone to just say, what the hell are you doing? It's December 1st. You can finish 21 Day Fix before Christmas. Why are you giving up? Like you literally said that, and it gave me life that I didn't know I needed. So when Chelsea says energies are contagious, like your guys' energies on this call, that's the secret sauce. Mm-hmm. Like all the long posts are amazing and we're learning, but the secret sauce is what you're bringing and how you're telling us, like, get out of your head, frickin' show up, do the work, it's worth it. And that's been like so amazing. So thank you.
I'm not offended.
I think Chris has an effect on people too.
I'm not offended. If it triggered you, it's for you, right? Like I'm a firm believer in tough love because I'd rather have you not like me and achieve what you want to than have you like me. That's just not, it's not my goal. Like I rather have.
It's truth love though, rather than tough. Like it's truth.
Yeah. And that's why it hits you, right? Like you're like, that hit me right here in this uncomfortable piece that I've been trying to hide for a hot second, but it's no longer hiding because she just made that come out, right? And so like if you're mad at anyone, you're mad at yourself when those things happen, which is good. So I appreciate that you guys appreciate that.
Any other questions? Kelly, you're phenomenal.
Thanks.
Proud of
I
you.
honestly thought it wasn't happening. So I came home and I was like, oh my God, I have to speak after that. But it's just, I remember the last time I was going to say is, I don't know why I feel like I have to say this, but one of the things that I always I did a long time ago when I had my limiting beliefs is that when I would see somebody that was super successful, or hitting these milestones or things, that I would, instead of saying I could do that, I would say, well, I can't do that. Like they have X, Y, or Z, they've done all these things and I can't do that. And so it was weird. I was like, should I share that I'm 16 and that? Like, I feel, because I don't want that to be a deterrent for anybody else to be like, I can't do that. Cause that used to be my limiting belief. Or I would say, that girl got to 2-star in 6 months. So, and I've been doing this for 6 years. Use the people, like use the stories to fuel you, not to make you go the other direction. Everybody's, and this is why I feel compelled to share that I've been a coach for 7 years and I just went 2-star. Now I used to be embarrassed to say that. And now I feel compelled, because at any time that you decide to do something, I don't even freak out now when coaches sign as a preferred member and they're like, I just want to be a discount. I'm like, great. Because 5 years from now, they can be like, I want to do this. Or 6 months from now. It's not about time. It's about when people are ready. And if you're ready to be there when they're ready, that's when they're going to shine. And so you can take 2 years, 20 years, don't do that because then you're, what's the point? But like, just, there is no timeline. And I just want to make sure that you don't compare your timeline, if I will, can't think of a better word, to anybody else's. Because I did, and I think that held me down for a very, very long time. And now I want to share that you can, 7 years in, you can still be very successful, make it be very lucrative, and still be a freaking elite coach. I was 2 weeks away of qualifying from being premier, ending 2020 as a premier coach. I hit every single benchmark, every other benchmark except for the stupid Star Diamond thing, 2 weeks short. So you've got to set the goals and you've got to go after them. I'm going to be 2-star at the end of next week. I think team builder, at least tomorrow, first stop. And I'm going to be freaking elite because I say it's going to be so this year. I'm going to be 4-star qualifying next Thursday because my girls in here are going to be popping diamonds. And that's because of this 1K club too. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking now.
I'm going to say one thing really quick. Well, probably a couple things. But you had said how you had heard people doing inviting in these mass numbers. And it was like, whoa, like over your head. And these things that you knew, how Laura said that you knew some of the things that other leaders were doing. And I know that a lot of people in here see these numbers that we're saying like invite and follow up and do this. And it's very overwhelming. And so it's cool that you were on that side for a hot minute. And now you're like, oh shit, but then when I do it, look what happens. And you see the magic in like, we're not just saying, hey, do this and trying to like run you to the ground. It's like, hey, you're new in the game. You got to be pulling out these numbers to get where you're saying that you guys want to go. And once you break that hurdle of that fear and you just do it because it's a freaking message and you just hit send, there's this beautiful lining that happens and you're like, oh, the magic happens over here and it's okay. The other thing is how Laura, well, one I wanted to say, I love, because you don't understand how amazing it is to have a thread like that. Threads like that happen once in a unicorn style. You can put these people who say they have the biggest goals together and it will be Cricketville and you are pulling and you are dying, you are slamming your head against the window. So when you were saying that, I'm like, I'm so jealous because you do. Like I've been in those threads. They're freaking fire. And when people are showing up, it doesn't even matter if in the beginning, everyone's sitting there at goose eggs. If everyone's showing up in a thread, the momentum builds and no one is left behind. Like, and that's all. It doesn't even take grit and work and hustle. It takes momentum of everybody being in it together, and the rest just falls into place. So keep that thread going. Laura, I'm also going to challenge you. I'm like pointing to you up there because you're up there in my corner. I'm challenging you to also team up and link up to each other, where if you see Kelly's busy and she's not showing up in that thread, you push into that thread and keep it fired up.
Yes.
You guys all play with each other in on that. But I also, Chris always says this, you want to be a leader that you can tell then your team what you did to get where you wanted to go. And you want to lead that pack and show what's possible. And you don't want to necessarily, whatever your storyline is, you want to be able to share it. What's really cool about your storyline is that you can show that you could have had this success 6-7 years ago if you made the decision to do so. You didn't, and that's fine. That's your journey, because then you can show, hey, this is what you can get by hobbying it up, thinking you're full-time. And let me tell you what the difference between full-time and hobby is, and totally honor that, because I was you. I get that. But guess what happens when you level it up and move over here? And it's literally one decision in one moment. And now Laura can see that. And I'm sure Laura sees your momentum flying and is like, oh shit, she made a decision. I'm gonna make a decision too. Like, I'm coming with you. I'm not following you as my leader. I'm coming with you as a partner, which I think is baller. And I just wanted to throw that out there, that that type of camaraderie and stuff is magic. And it's not as common as you probably think. So when you have it, hold on, level each other up, believe in each other like no other, but push each other, and you guys will be unstoppable. So I'm freaking out.
Yeah, Christina said it, but I was just gonna also say, like, your story is exactly what it's supposed to be. Like, everybody's timeline is exactly what it's supposed to be to turn them into the coach that they are supposed to be, so you can turn around and help somebody else. And your story, like, I'll be using the Kelly story when I'm talking to people. Like, hell yes, when I go back and reach out to some of my inactives and I'm like, yo, I know that you were coaching before and then you like took a step back, but like, let me tell you about Kelly. And like literally, like, you will become some other person's story to use too, to like inspire them, because it's amazing. And like, so yeah, I think we're all on our own journey. We're all exactly where we're supposed to be. There's no mistake about that.
Okay, so we're going to close up, okay? But first, I'll echo what everybody else said. Kelly, you did amazing. You're doing amazing. It's fantastic. But I love the fact that, we've been bringing these other rock stars in to show people what's possible. And now here it is, we're like, hey, you know what? Let's bring one of our rock stars in and show people what's possible. And so, we're going to keep bringing you people outside of the 1K club. But what I'm asking you guys is, who's going to be the next person from in 1K that gets the message from us saying, hey, you know what? We're ready for you to tell your story, right? Because we want everybody to be on there. There's 55 people. That's a whole year's worth of calls, right? But who's going to be the next person? And I mean, it's a big deal. I remember how exciting that was for me too, right? But it's because it's valuable to everybody else, right? It's not, I mean, it's really cool for Kelly, but I think that it should be, I hope that you guys recognize this for what it is, where, Kelly was, like I said, kind of diamond, not kind of diamond when this thing started. And now she's number 60 in the network. And so, if she can do it, then so can you, right? It's all about time and energy. So,
so I'm not gonna post a check-in graphic tonight, because there was piss poor effort on Christina's post about celebrating today. So before you go to bed tonight, go back to Christina's celebration post. It's Thursday, it's payday, it's rank advancement day. Let's like blow this shit up, because stop or scroll, let's celebrate. And that's what our check-in is going to be. I just had to throw that out there, because I was like,
no, that's good. You know what I mean? But I'm going to tell you what too. Like, I totally needed this call too, right?
Yes,
I totally needed this call, and I totally needed you tonight, Kelly.
You needed it. Now what?
Go work, go recruit.
What?
Because people always say, oh my God, I needed this so bad. And I'm like, okay, now what? Now what? You heard it. Now.
Yeah, now I'm going to go work. But I mean, I've been sick. Then I was at Disney, and then I came home to the freaking blizzard that, this historic blizzard in Texas. It's been crazy. I've got like really great excuses. But anyway, fantastic. See you ladies on the boards. Let's rock this thing and keep going. Okay, we got plenty of time for the rest of this month. Everybody needs to be in Success Club because everybody needs to be in this group next month, and you need to be bringing your people. All right, that's it. Let's go.